All right, Jean-luc, we just got back from seeing Dishonored 2. We had a chance to play about an hour of a particular new mission. I got to play as Corvo, you got to play as Emily.
Yep.
So let's just start. Can you tell us a little bit about what we saw today?
Yeah, so we got to play it was the fourth mission, so it's partway through the game. It is the Clockwork Mansion, which is sort of like this crazy mansion built by this eccentric...
Basically like master inventor guy who really likes to hear himself talk and really likes to toy with people. He was in our ear the entire mission, just like talking shit the whole time.
Not if you kill him early, he doesn't.
That's true. I mean, the interesting thing, as with every Dishonored game, you can really kind of find your own path, and some paths are quicker than others. Like, I actually discovered really early on that you can actually slip into like in between the walls of the house as like the floors shift and like staircases appear and disappear. You can actually like find your way behind the gears and like leave the house proper and start moving through the walls and find all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, so that's like the cool thing about this mansion is that it's constantly moving around. It's like a Disney World-esque like theme park where all these crazy like robot contraptions are everywhere and stuff starts moving, and then you can get through the walls and you can kind of see like behind everything.
Yeah, and it's all analog, which is the cool thing. You can see the gears turning, you can see where like a particular plate might have like swung down and then got pushed into position. There was so much thought put into the way that it was assembled. It's almost like this could actually be a real place. In a weird way, the level itself was basically the puzzle of the mission. The world itself was kind of a puzzle, which was really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought that was like Dishonored's strength is it throws you into this very grand, like large area and then has you tackle it in multiple ways. So I know for me, the way I got to, you have two objectives. You have to save this guy who's a character from the first Dishonored.
Yeah, Sokolov, the scientist from the first game.
And then you also have to take care of, is it Jindosh?
Take care of Kirin
him.
Jindosh, the sort of grand inventor that we mentioned at the top.
There's multiple ways to take care of him. As with the first one, you can always do a lethal or non-lethal route. At one point, I was trying to figure out how to get to him, and I was looking at a balcony, and you couldn't quite reach it from the balcony, but I saw there was like this little vent. And so like I kind of hopped off of it onto the vent very precariously, and then I was able to leap over there.
Gotcha.
And so like sort of that off the wall thinking where the game encourages you to look around and be like, just try this, man. Like, sure. Like, and if it doesn't work, like, hey, hopefully you saved right before.
Just very appropriate.
I went and did that, and then my alternate route was I had this ability called it was like shadow step, I believe. And basically you turn into this like shadowy creature that like crawls on the floor. And it's actually a little broken, I thought, because you can kind of just get past anybody with it, and like you're just like crawling around the floor, and I guess they just don't see you.
Right.
And then but you also have the option to just take care of them both lethally or non-lethally. And I took the lethal option, and you just grab him and you rip him in half.
Yeah, I mean, well, they did mention at the beginning of our demo that we've been given more powers than we would typically have at that point in the game. Because as you mentioned, it was only the fourth chapter. It's probably not super far into the game. So it's possible that that's a later power that you unlock or earn. And I'm guessing it probably used up quite a bit of your sort of like magic power, the blue bar on the HUD.
Definitely. I mean, you can't just spam it or anything like that. But yeah, they gave you like, I mean, I had... like regular darts, sleeping darts. I had like a gun. I had a gun that shot explosives, which was really awesome because it's just like the Clockwork Soldiers, which take a fair amount to hit, and they're actually really cool because they have different points on their body. They're white, and I guess it's like where they're attached to each other, and you can actually aim and shoot them off individually. So you can like shoot off their arm or shoot off their leg. And the explosive one, it just blows them up. Yeah.
Although it is pretty cool to watch them fall to pieces. I definitely chucked a grenade at more than one Clockwork Soldier to watch them just completely fall apart. But they are really interesting enemies to fight. They take damage much better than just average human enemies. Like, you can't just come straight at one. You really have to position yourself appropriately and kind of come at them from the right way, or use the right tool to take them down. You can't simply like charge at them and try to slice them up. It just isn't going to work.
Yeah, you'll die really quickly. And in fact, I actually had an issue where I died to one, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then the autosave loaded me like right before it leaps on me, so I just got stuck in this loop of it like killing me 3 or 4 times. Thankfully, my hard save was like a room right before, so it wasn't that big of a deal, but that did happen to me, and that was kind of a bummer.
Yeah, so playing as Corvo, it was interesting because I remember all those powers from the first game, but in this particular setting, I feel like I was able to use them in kind of different ways. And actually, I ended up in a very different part of the world than you, because I was doing all like the weird behind the wall stuff. So I made it down to Sokolov. I like had to solve what was essentially a tile puzzle to get like the walls to shift in the right way to get him out. So again, it was really interesting to see how the level itself was kind of the driving mechanic of this particular mission. It was really cool. And what's crazy is, according to Bethesda, each mission is going to kind of have its own version of this. Like we've seen the sandstorms in another mission in earlier demos. There was a demo at E3 where you were able to like manipulate time and step through history, basically.
Right.
So it's going to be really interesting to see what the other levels hold, because I really enjoyed the Jean-luc Mansion, like the way everything kind of fit together in this really intricate way. So excited for more of that. What's always been interesting to me about Dishonored is it's the kind of game you can be bad at, but want to get better at. Like, eventually, as you get a feel for the powers and as you begin to expand and experiment, the game really just kind of blossoms and provides all these different opportunities for you as a player, which is really cool. So, yeah, it can be very frustrating at times, and I think a lot of people will be frustrated by it. But in my experience, especially today, the more that you work at it, the more you can kind of get out of the game.
That's my favorite kind of game, is where it rewards the player who takes the opportunity to like really like learn and get better at the game's mechanics.
All right, so that was our demo of Dishonored 2 from earlier today. Hopefully we're going to see a little bit more of the game before it's out. It's due out on November 11th, so we have a little bit of time. So stay put on GameSpot.com for more coverage of Dishonored 2 and basically everything video games.
Until either comes to pass, your secret is safe with me.
I'll see you soon, Jean-luc.
Until then.